show.
It's time to completely overreact and play It's Just One Game, but Jason Tatum is the next Kobe Bryant.
Markelle Fultz shouldn't be starting. The Warriors are vulnerable. Was this a dunk?
And we'll discuss whether the Wolves should or shouldn't play Jimmy Butler tonight.
It's Wednesday, October 17th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to the starters. I'm Skeets, that's Tass, that's Lee, and over yonder, it's the bearded one. That's Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-o! TK, what's poppin', man?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And speaking of hashtags, the NBA just released the full list of NBA Twitter hashtags, and let me say, it's a mixed bag of tags up in here. Some of them are great. Time to rise for the Suns, I love it, but some of them are a downgrade. The Jazz used to have take note, now their team is everything. Not great.
Yeah.
As for the Rockets and Pacers, they just went with their own team names. Boring! And that brings us to today's question. What are some alternate NBA hashtags that these teams could use? For instance, I don't love Bulls Nation for the Bulls, so why not get the horns? You mess with the Bulls, you get the horns. As for Houston, it is rocket science would work for them. They're an analytical team, and how about the Pacers? Just go with a simple boom.
Oh, how many?
You gotta master the O's.
Yeah, how many O's?
That's the problem. It's all about the laps in Indianapolis. But we want to hear from you, so hit us up with your best NBA hashtags. Send them to the absolutely perfect hashtag the starters, and we'll hear from you later.
All right, get those tweets in. Fun show tonight. We're going to talk about Jimmy Butler possibly playing tonight for the Wolves. We got Crossfire. It's the return of the very solid play, but it's a staple here on the starters early in the season. It's time to completely overreact after just one night of NBA basketball. The sky is falling. We got to blow things out of proportion. It's just one game, but Trey.
Did you guys know that Jason Tatum is only 20 years old? It's true, and he led the Celtics with a smooth 23 points in a win against the Sixers. Threw down a monster dunk, he hit Joel Embiid with a wink, and I think Boston fans already raised his jersey to the rafters. It's just one game, but Jason Tatum is the Celtics' best player ever?
Ever. So not only better than Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward. No, he's better than Larry Bird. He's better than Parrish and McHale and all these guys. It was a great game. 23 points. He looks solid. He was the go-to guy for them. Mm-hmm. You know, we're joking about this, but there might be some truth to it.
I think it is true.
There might be some truth to it. Not knowing what type of Hayward we're going to get, obviously coming back from the injury, I thought he looked like he lacked any sort of explosion.
Yeah. But Hayward's not their best player.
And no,
it would be trumping Kyrie. And slash Al Horford. Al Horford is probably the best player in the playoffs, but it's no diss to Kyrie or Al Horford. But I think Jason Tatum, the way he grew from the regular season last year in his rookie year to the playoffs, and now in his second year, to me, he's going to be the best player that you want taking the shot come this postseason, which is crazy because Kyrie Irving is on his team.
Right.
He has more defense than Kyrie Irving, but he's bigger than Kyrie Irving. And that's what it comes down to.
That's the crazy part with him. What is 6'8"?
Yeah.
6'9", this guy?
Big guy, yeah.
He's got handles. Like, he is fluid. I mean,
all five of those guys get their shot.
Yeah, but he was the one, and Kyrie, no doubt. I mean, he can create a shot, and he was frustrated because he couldn't hit one last night with the old headband look there. But, I mean, Tatum is just smooth. It's so smooth. And the guys on the Open Floor podcast, they call him 12-time Tatum because he's going to make 12 All-Star games. So maybe he is the greatest Celtics of all time. He's up there along with Pierce and stuff. But it was a great game for him.
He was their most spectacular last night. But again, we always overlook Al Horford in this situation. He didn't have a great game last night. But if you were to take Al Horford off that team for 10 to 15 games, I think they would notice that more than if you took Tatum off, because I think they've got a lot of other guys who can score and who can play that sort of scrappy defense. Because Al Horford is perennially overlooked. Right. And I think that's just very important. Last night, actually, Aaron Baines was actually very good as well. But on Embiid early on, I thought Horford was just there. And on offense, he always knows where to be. He always plays in the right way. He just doesn't stand out like Jason Tatum did last night. The interesting thing about Jason Tatum will be how he handles his first slump, because it's coming at some point. And how he reacts to that and how his game changes and adjusts as he goes through that. Because now you know the focus, every scouting report on Boston is going to be get into Jason Tatum's face and don't let him get those shots off, because he's a high confidence player. And when he gets going, he's very hard to stop. So that's going to be the challenge for him. Last night, no doubt, he was the best player on the floor.
Since we're overreacting, I see him and I just think of Kevin Durant because of how smooth he is, because of how long he is, because he's kind of have a thin frame. Now, if he could ever reach that, that's an incredible ceiling. But those dudes hung out in the offseason. They were dancing in the same semicircle. And I see shades of that smooth, buttery silkiness.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin Durant's the best scorer in the game, I think, but Tatum has that ability. This is, again, as Trey said, he's 20 years old. So, one game right now, if you need somebody to score, you're probably taking Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
You need a solid player, you're probably taking Al Horford. But the future, I don't know, that guy, why not? Put his banner up there now.
Put the number up there. All right, Trey, next one.
On the flippity flip, Markelle Fultz got his first start of his career last night. He did knock down a jumper, but he finished with just 5 points on 2 of 7 shooting while adding 3 turnovers on his way to a team low -16 in 24 minutes. Not a great start. Guys, it's just one game, but Markelle Fultz starting is a disaster.
Come on. This move is for the playoffs. So, they're going to lose some games. They've also lost 8 of 10 to this Boston Celtics team. This is the best team in the Eastern Conference. Also, the guy that he replaced, J.J. Redick, also did not have a good game off the bench. He was a -10. The worrisome part is that Fultz didn't take 1 3. Now, he looked kind of confident out there taking some shots, but he's got to be able to take a 3 because if Ben Simmons isn't taking them, you can go double Joel Embiid, like when Terry Rozier had that monster block on him.
Right, the help
There's
block,
just not enough space out there. Fultz has to be a more confident player. That's what I'm worried about. And, it's one game. You said this is the grandest stage of the Mall Skeets opening night. I think it's okay. I think the move is for the postseason. He needs to get some reps in. You can't have J.J. Redick in there because you'll get burned on the defensive end.
Yeah, we don't want to overreact to one game, even that's the whole point of this. You're against the Celtics, maybe the best defense in the league, at least top 3. So let's see how he fares against a Bulls team, let's say, coming up on the schedule. It's going to be a lot different, I'm sure. That all said, I'm curious about this decision to start him because Brett Brown's on record saying, we want to get him more minutes as a point guard. But when he's out there with Ben Simmons, he's not the point guard. Ben Simmons needs the ball in his hands. Good things do happen. He had some beautiful dimes last night. He filled up the box score as well. But Fultz is out there. He doesn't really have the ball in his hands, so there's no spacing. Embiid's got to be on the block. We know he can hit threes, but he's got to be on the block. And then Simmons and Fultz, you saw the Celtics defense, they just sagged off him.
Yeah.
Both of those guys.
That's why he's got to shoot.
To make it difficult to even
shoot.
get the ball inside to Embiid. So this is the part that doesn't, wouldn't he be better served being the point guard with the second unit? I think that makes more sense, but maybe it's just for a confidence play here from Brett Brown and the Sixers to get him out there as a number 1 pick and start with the big guns.
And Brett Brown talked about how he probably would start Redick in the second half, and Fultz barely played in that second half because whether or not he just didn't like the look of him or he just wanted to get a look at him in that first half, that was what Brett Brown was looking for last night. But Fultz is basically a rookie again. I think we can throw out his rookie season. So you're going to go through those normal rookie struggles. That confidence that he was there okay early on. He stepped into that jump shot and knocked it in. He just needs to get a few more of those to go down. I think his confidence will grow from there. But ultimately, Tass is right. Someone needs to be able to spread the floor to give Simmons a little bit more room to create, or Fultz has to go and do it himself. So whichever way they're going to do it, one of those guys has to be able to shoot. We know it's not going to come from Simmons.
All right, Trey, final one.
All right, the Warriors got 59 points combined from Steph Curry and Kevin Durant in last night's win, but the Thunder kept things close for most of the fourth, and Steve Kerr admitted that the Dubs weren't ready to play, aren't in shape, and won't really be themselves for a couple of weeks, but otherwise, things are fine. It's just one game, but the Warriors look vulnerable.
Yes,
the season's back on.
They did, but they've also looked vulnerable at times over the last couple of seasons because this is what the Warriors do. They're not playing for October and November, they're playing for June. So last night you could tell, and Steve Kerr admitted, even Draymond Green, a couple of those guys didn't look great. They didn't look like they had their leg. Now Draymond missed most of preseason, so that's to be expected. But the thing with the Warriors is they know they have some vulnerabilities. They know they get a little bit sloppy, but their offense can pretty much bail them out of any situation. So they don't have to be overly concerned about it at this stage. If they were missing shots, and they didn't shoot great from three-point range last night, but if everything was looking bad for them, then perhaps you could say this is a different situation for them. The bench isn't great, but when they got Steph, Kevin Durant, and those guys bailing them out, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you're going to win a ton of games when you have the best players in the game, which they have like 3 or 4 of them. But you said it, you slipped it in there. The bench is the one thing that you got a bunch of question marks surrounding. I mean, with Andre Iguodala being injured, Sean Livingston just getting older, not seeming to have sort of that pop that we've seen from Livingston in the past. There's no Patrick McCaw. You got a bunch of bigs that you're trying to figure out here. That, I think, is fair. Like, the bench may be vulnerable, but in the end, they're so talented with their starters, it may not really, truly matter which is wild to think.
No, they should be happy. Last year, they started with the loss of the Rockets.
Yeah.
They lost 2 of their first 3 last year. And this year, yeah, I understand the bench worries, but they're younger. And that's the good thing. You see oldies like Sean Livingston, not 100%, Andre Goodell, not 100%, but they've got some kids, like Damian Jones started in this game. They actually only have 5 guys that were born in the 80s on this team. Last year, they had 9 going into the season. They made it a concerted effort to get younger. And a guy like Damian Jones comes out. He was a draft pick in 2016. He's their starter now, taking Zaza's place. You got a big David West gone. Kevon Looney's probably taking his minutes. Jordan Bell. They're getting younger. That's a good thing for this older team.
So not vulnerable.
Oh God, no.
Should we cancel Are we canceling the season still? That's what I want to know. We're not canceling the season. Okay. We're not canceling the show. I hope. When we come back, we got guys stepping into the crossfire to debate whether Jaylen Brown's quote unquote dunk should be celebrated or not. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Crossfire. Here's how it works. I'm going to give these 2 guys 3 questions, and at the end of it all, I will declare a winner. Guys, here we go. Question 1. Last night, Jaylen Brown threw it down over Joel Embiid in a play that was partially blocked but still went in off the backboard. Jaylen talked a little bit of trash on what was clearly a lucky basket. So should Jaylen's dunk be celebrated?
Was it a dunk? No.
No.
Was it lucky? Yes. But was it cool? You betcha. And that is key to me. If a highlight looks cool, even if you didn't mean to do it, you still got to celebrate it. Not to mention, it was on Joel Embiid. You know he'd be talking trash if the tables were turned. Anytime you get an opportunity to rub it in his face, you got to take it, Tassie.
No. It was a block. As the box score said, it was a layup, a driving
layup. The box score said 2 points, buddy.
It said a driving layup. You don't run back and talk trash when you just got blocked. You can't. And the worst part about it is, it's probably going to be a poster because Jaylen looked extremely cool with his legs
For sure.
kicked up with those red and blues. And then the stare down? No. It was luck. It was an own goal.
It was an own goal. It was an own goal.
We should have own goals in basketball. That'd be great. Okay, question 2. The Warriors received their championship rings last night, and for the first time, they came in 2 pieces. The internet had fun with them, but what did you guys think? Were you feeling them or not?
Here we go. I loved them. As Steve Kerr said when he first got them, holy mackerel, that's a beautiful ring. It's great. You could change the sides. It's a reversible ring. I'm not into jewelry trends, but I've never seen this before. If I want a white accent for my outfit, I put it on this side. If I want a blue accent for this outfit, this outfit.
Oh. What? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Every ring is reversible. Look at this. I turn it around.
Come on.
It still
That's
fits.
not
But
the way
seriously,
it's done.
Tass, here's the problem. Nobody knows how these rings work. We saw 2 people try to take it apart and put it back together yesterday. Neither of them could get it reattached. You want to lose a $20,000 ring? No. Do you want to lose the $10,000 piece that's on top of it? No. Give me a 1-piece ring. I'm a simple man.
Simple man with simple taste. Moving on, question 3. As always, opening night was a fashion opportunity for the players arriving at their games. Trey, this one's in your wheelhouse. Who had the best opening night fit? Here we go.
Oh, Marcus Smart came through dripping last night. Do you see this robe? Do you see these chains? Do you see these AirPods that he was rocking? I like that he dressed like a king because his late mother used to call him her little king, and I love that he found a way to stay cozy while rocking a bare chest. I didn't even know that was possible, but if it is, I'm gonna give it a shot.
He did look great, but I think the outfit of the night belonged to Pedro Martinez. Charles Barkley said this week to Jimmy Fallon that he hadn't worn underwear in 10 years, so Fruit of the Loom sent him 2 huge boxes. That meant Pedro Martinez had to put them on. That's Pedro Martinez wearing Charles Barkley's Fruit of the Loom. And this is me wearing Pedro Martinez, Charles Barkley's Fruit of the Loom. Outfit of the day.
Oh my goodness me. Well, this is a crazy one. I'm going with Tass on the condition that you never wear those in this office.
Tassie with the win, yeah. Put it
What you gonna do when the fruit of my looms runs wild on you?
Quick break when we return. Which rookie debut are you most excited for tonight? Don't go anywhere. Stepping into the squared circle. Back with the starters, right into a little fill-in-the-blank fun. My man TK's got some cues. We'll fill in the blank. Let's go.
A whole bunch of rookies get their first real taste of the NBA tonight. The entire top 6 is slated to take the court with DeAndre and the Donk going head-to-head in the biggest rookie matchup of the night. Need y'all to fill in the blank. The rookie debut you're most excited for is blank.
You said it, Trey. The Donk.
The Donk.
The
We're not calling him the Donk.
Why not? What have you got? A better nickname for him?
No, Luca's a fine name. There's nothing wrong with
Luca is
Luca.
a fine name, but that's not a nickname. We need a nickname for him.
The Donk.
Yeah,
All
it's a
right, but you're
beautiful
pumped to see
nickname.
him.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, there's so much hype around this guy. We didn't see him at Summer League. He has played in the preseason. He looks ready. He looks like he can adjust to the NBA game straight away. I want to see now how he goes in the NBA, how he's going to deal with the pressure and the expectation of playing for the Mavs. He's going to be their starting point guard. I hope he has a great season.
I'll also be watching the Donk because I'm pumped to watch.
See?
The number one overall pick.
Catching on.
DeAndre Ayton taking on, obviously, the Suns and the Mavs. I like this matchup here early in the season. I'm just excited. He's obviously the number one pick. You always want to see what the number one pick's going to bring. And as a big guy, and you talked about it a little bit yesterday, Taz, it's a guards game now. It really is, a wingsman's game. So can we get back to have like sort of a dominant big? And there are a few of them in the league, but just to see where he compares in his first game ever against some of the greats at the center position, be it Shaq, the Admiral, Anthony Davis, So where will Ayton? What type of numbers will he put up tonight?
Shaq have a hoop earring, man?
Yeah, he did.
That was cool back then.
That's around the time he was hanging out with Michael Jackson.
Right.
All right, so who do you got?
Yeah, and the brows really filled in there. Along the lines of the Donk, I want to see Trae Young.
Sticking.
I want Trae Young to shut up everybody who's claiming that he's going to be a bust. Because yes, Luka Doncic should have a better rookie year than Trae Young, and there's some questions about Trae Young's size. But Trae Young is a basketball player. He's going to take some time, to get acclimated into the NBA. But the guy's got some crazy, crazy skills. And year one might not be incredible, but hopefully he starts off well. Because if not, the narrative is going to be the Donk and the Trae. I don't know. There's got to be some sort of nickname between the two. But they're going to be compared forever. Hopefully Trae Young can let his game do the talking.
For sure. Trey, next one.
All right, seeing Jimmy Butler in Minnesota is gonna seem like the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's still there. It's over. Trade him already. But he will indeed be there tonight, playing basketball. So guys, fill in the blank. Jimmy Butler playing for the Wolves tonight is blank.
What do you got, Lee? Go ahead.
Straight up weird.
Yeah, okay.
Straight up weird. I mean, he looked like he was gone for all money. And if he does stay, and let's say he's probably going to play a handful of games at least here in Minnesota, then I guess that's a win for Tom Thibodeau because he said the whole time he wanted to keep him there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
The only problem is I think Jimmy Butler's gone virtually no matter what happens at the end of this season. So the longer he stays in Minnesota, it lessens his trade value. So I think the Wolves probably still want to move on from him, even if Tibbs feels like maybe he's winning the battle but loses the war in the end, that his star player goes for nothing.
Well, what happens if he gets injured?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I went risky business. This, to me, is a little risky here. I get the whole idea that Thibodeau wants to win games because his career is on the line in Minnesota, in his coaching career. He wants those W's. But what if Butler goes down with like a Hayward-like injury? Well, then what? Now you're not going to trade him for anything, I assume, at that point. So it's strange, it's weird, it's risky. I don't really get it. I want to see what the dynamic is, though, between Butler and his own teammates. Are they going to play hard for him? Are Towns and Wiggins and these guys?
Well, that was kind of the idea of him going in there and sort of lighting a fire under those guys. So let's say they do have a good performance, then maybe there's a chance of reconciliation there. But
yeah, I mean, maybe W's maybe cures all here. If they just win a bunch of games, that's good. But if they get off to a rocky start, this is just going to get weirder.
I don't worry about Jimmy getting injured because he's nails. He just doesn't get injured.
He gets injured all the time.
Nah, he fights through it. He's one of Tibbs' boys. He plays 48 minutes a game. I think it's positive in the end. I know it sounds crazy, but they're going to go through some adversity. And on the other side of adversity, there's some light.
Yeah.
Just fight through it. And everybody wants to play with Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think there's that worry. Let's say Jimmy leaves and there's a huge opening beside Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. I think people want to play with Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know how this turns into a positive, but I'm just trying to be
I'm glad you explained that was positive.
Yeah.
I was like, what is TUVA?
Yeah.
What is TVE? All right.
I didn't have a lot of time.
Final one here, Trey.
All right, good news, y'all. We got our first snack sneaker of the season. This time, it's Russell Westbrook, who was caught on camera eating something while sitting out against the Warriors last night. Not sure what he was eating, but I'm hungry, so please fill in the blank. Your bench snack would be blank.
I'm
Who got the popsicles?
I'm going with dark chocolate from Trader Joe's. In fact,
Whoa.
I happen to bring along a couple here.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
What are we,
These
sponsored by them?
No, I'm not. I should
Comes
be.
in a
but,
tin. It looks
yeah.
like
Check,
dip.
TJ.
Hey, you need a little espresso on the side as well, so
Yeah.
I know Tass would enjoy that. Boris Dior could bring in his little espresso machine.
Yeah.
Have a couple of these dark chocolates. Absolutely fantastic.
Just a little pick-me-up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, beautiful.
I thought you were dipping there. Mine would be Chex Mix because it's salty, just like me being on the bench. And also, bonus, it's crunchy, and the coach would hear me chewing.
Yeah. You want them to hear you?
Yeah, because I'd be on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
Not like Russ in his. I'd be on the bench because I'd be benched.
Right,
You know
gotcha,
what I mean?
gotcha. I went a pocket dog tray.
Oh, no, don't
Well,
tell me.
speaking of pocket dogs, please. Not yet. It's still early.
Oh, man. Have a
It's still
chocolate.
early.
Pocket dog would be perfect. All right, we got to take one more break. Yeah, pass that chocolate out.
Pocket chocolate.
That does
Whoa.
look good.
They're great.
When we come back, it's the return of the greatest honor in professional sports, Lily's very solid play. Brought to you by Trader Joe's Chocolate. We asked you for some alternate NBA hashtags. You came through by using our hashtag, the starters. Trey, you got a few answers.
Yeah, I got some good ones. Michael submitted one for the Rockets. Hashtag prepare for liftoff. Not bad. Another good one from Jonathan who says rather than hashtag Pacers, Pacers need to hashtag set the pace. And we also inspired another one from Michael who says the Mavericks got a hashtag do the dunk. It's sticking, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, he spelled it with a C. You spelled it with a K.
Interesting,
Very interesting.
interesting,
Very
yeah.
interesting. All right. Last night's
International spelling.
pick 'em play. We all had the Celtics. We all picked up that W with the Celtics taking care of business at home against the 76ers. Now, longtime fans of the starters know that every weeknight we attempt to pick the winner of a random game. And the stakes are high because at the end of the month, the guy with the worst record's got to pay it off. You're seeing a few of the highlights or lowlights from last season.
I'm still feeling
Forgot when Lee almost died.
Yeah, Lee almost died a few times. All right, interesting. Tonight's pick and play, Nuggets at Clippers.
It's a short month. Can't get behind.
Yeah, Trey, Tass, and myself like the Nuggets on the road. Not a great road team last year. Lee taking the Clips at home. All right, good luck. Lee, very solid play. Oh, baby.
Yes, and we have a new category to start the season. It's called the Trans-Tasman play because it's Aaron Baines here with a beautiful bounce pass down to Kyrie Irving with a gorgeous left-handed layup. That's what I call a very solid play. Not brought to you by Trader Joe's.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, fan signs as well. First one of the night, Fat Master Chiefs out in Boston. Fantastic.
Fancy
Simple.
hat, Master Chiefs.
Simple yet effective.
Very excited. All right, keep your fan signs coming. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. 10 before tip coming up next.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, when you get to wear Charles Barkley's underwear that was worn by Pedro Martinez, you do it.
Race tonight, people.